Welcome back, everybody. So glad you could be with me here today. Walter here at the workbench with the 605C. And I've mentioned this before, this is an older Bedrock, thin castings. Does not have the original blade, but everything else looks to be original. So what I want to do on this video is take this one apart and take a closer look at the frog on this bedrock. I don't know how it will compare to other bedrocks, but we're going to take a look. And I don't know why the lighting is so strange, but it is. So let's open the hood, take the hood off, take the blade set out, and here too, you want to check your blade set for square. And I'm real close, so I'm not worried about that. Excuse me. So there's the frog. This has got the smooth surface all the way through. And this is working on the pins, not screws here. So the pins hold the frog down to the body via the screws that are in the back of the frog. So the way the frog advances, and the main reason of the bedrock style is the chip breaker and the blade and the lever cap can all remain in place, and you can move the frog forward and back without taking them out. But let's take it apart. And how it comes apart is there's these two screws that have a conical point on them. And that conical point goes into a drilled hole in the pins that hold the frog down. Okay, you see those pins right there? They have a little hole in there, and it is tapered in such a way that when the screws, let's take one out. When the screws go into those holes, they will pull the pin down, locking the frog in place. All right. And there it goes on the floor. Oh boy. You ever wonder what we would do, how much time we could save picking things up if we didn't have to deal with gravity? All right, I'm back. So the pin and the screw work together thusly. Okay, that goes into there, and this pin would be upright. And as you tighten the screw, the point goes in further into the pin, pulling it down. It's kind of an interesting feat of engineering. So So you can see the last time I put this together, I put a little bit of oil on it here, there, and everywhere. So the Bedrock Frog is smoothly machined on the bottom. It has a little tab here. I'm not sure what that's for. That might be some sort of a registration for when they're setting this up in jigs on drill presses and such, milling machines. And as I said, this is all smooth. So there's no key like in the standard plane. However, what there is this machined, don't fall through that hole, lip on each side. Okay? See that milled area? I guess you could call that a way. Sort of like on the ways on a lathe. Those fit into machine spots on the base of the plane. Okay, right in there. They fit into a corner right there. So when you put this together, the concept is that it would have little or no left to right movement. But as you can see, there still is. But once again, it's within a tolerance level that would keep the blade reasonably square to the sole. So that's how that works. And it's a little tricky putting these back together because you have to get that hole facing backwards. Get that screw back in there first. You got to get that hole facing backwards so that it locks into the pin of the screw. I'm trying to be as thorough as I can. I'm sorry if this goes a little long. Okay. But this is our beginning point for when we start looking at the other planes. Now here too, there is a machine slot for these pins to ride in, and they only have so much tolerance. Having taken enough design courses back in college for metallurgy, I studied machine design, I studied architectural design. We know everything has to have some level of tolerance because you either need it tight or you need it loose. How tight, how loose affects the precision of whatever the item is that you're making. So what I'm doing now is I'm tightening the screws and hoping that those pins are lining right up with the hole. And I really wish I had a longer, slender screwdriver, but I don't, so we use what we got. Okay, so as you can hear, there is just that ever so slight left to right movement you snug it down just ever so slightly. And the way I check it, as I've mentioned in the past, I check to see how I'm mating up with the back edge of the mouth. And I do that strictly by feel. And this one seems okay. Now, before I lock the pins down, I will go into the forward and retract advance screw, and I will just finger tighten that. Remember what I said? You want things always to be in the forward or tightening position, not the loosening position. So that's about it for the frog. Let's see how that all lines up. Straighten the lever. Have the yoke centered. Put the lever cap on centered. Okay, that's a little tight. Why is that tight? Did I touch that screw? There we go. And let's see where the blade is. Okay. And this is one of the reasons I don't particularly like corrugated soles. Makes it a little harder to see. But it looks like it's square. If anything, it might need to go that way just a tad, and that screw needs to be tightened just a little. So there you go, everybody. That's the Bedrock. And I don't know the age of this. It has a patent date in the sole. What's the date on it? US patent April 19th-10. So that's 1910. So that's approximately how old this is. It could be a little bit newer. So now you can see the difference between the way the Bedrock Frog runs in 2 grooves and the standard frog that I have in this particular pattern or type runs on that notch. But they all sort of are within that 1 degree left-right type tolerance. Hope this helps somebody. So glad you could be with me. And wishing you a blessed day. Head out to your workshop. Next time you have your planes apart and you're cleaning them, just take a little closer look at your frog and see how it registers, and if it needs adjustment, where you can make a minor adjustment without actually touching metal or anything, just in how you tighten it. Like, subscribe, and share. Walter out.